No, hello. Hello? Wait, hold on. Wait. Is it not? Oh, there you go, there you go. I thought my model isn't moving. Okay. Oh shit. Okay, hello, welcome back. This is your local joker mechanic, Judy Zetto. You may call me Zetto or Zett, whichever. Either works, so yeah. Yeah, once again, I am playing gacha games. I mean, I think it's been like, frick. More than a month, probably. I didn't stream any gacha games. I'm just playing them on my own time. There was like one gacha game I was like, I'm just waiting to release. Well, not one, probably two of them. Two of them I'm like watching right now to like release probably at the end of the year, probably early next year. So yeah. Yeah, today I'm streaming Punishing Grey Raven. Okay. I did start. I started this game. Sorry, sorry, BRS.
私の名を呼べばいい。あなたのそばで共に進む道を切り開く。
That's something you should say to Mato, but yeah. Okay. So I did start this game like earlier this year, I believe. It's like I did try it out. I think it's really cool, it's really fluid, but at the same time I think I kind of just forgot about it after the first few days that I played it. And yeah, this event had made me return. I should have returned during the third Ani. I probably missed like a lot of rewards. But yeah, I'm back for the Black Shooter collab. Man, I think if I ask the question now, I think a lot of people don't know who Black Shooter is. But like, oh, holy shit! I think a Black Shooter was like peak 2010, like niche anime which had like a decent amount of popularity. So it's like for those who don't know, Black Shooter is originally just a character an original character or character concept art by Yuke. The artist named Huke. You can like search him up in Google or Pixiviven, but even better. Yeah. If you don't know who Huke is, Huke is also the character designer for Steins Gate and also a VTuber artist for Takanashi Kiara from Hololive EN. So yeah, so what happened with Black Shooter is that, yeah, it did start as like a series of illustrations, right? If I remember, there was like a few more other characters that came along with it, like Deadmaster, Gold Sauce, Strength, etc., etc. So I think they made like an OVA. I actually don't know which came first, if it's the OVA or like the first Black Shooter manga. This I do remember reading it, but it's like it's really niche, so it's the update. I don't know if they updated it up until this point. And then it even became a PSP game at one point, actually. There's like all these different media of Black Shooter is in like separate universes. They aren't like really connected. There's like you had like a different version of, yeah, you have a different version of Black Rock Shooter in each like media. They do still like keep the similar design. I would say similar, but like for the first three media iterations, there's like no really no, not much difference from like her original design. But like there was like another anime that came out after the not original, the TV series TV series adaptation of the OVA, which like they changed the character designs actually, sometimes for better for worse kind of thing, which is like the post-apocalyptic like set. It was kind of, the anime is kind of weird. I only watched up to episode 4, I think, with a friend. This friend is like a huge like Black Rock Shooter fan. Well, probably not that huge because I still remember I still know more than him, but like, you know, he just like adores the character designs like a lot. And is yeah, we're both weirded out by like that latest anime. It's the animation is the animation is bad outside of the first episode, and like the subtitle, the early subtitles are like, I think they were trolled a bit. They were so bad. This like it made it kind of unwatchable. We just forgot about that. We just forgot about it basically. So yeah. Okay, so I do believe that this Black Rock Shooter came from the OVA, like the OVA continuation, OVA, then the anime, the first anime TV series. Okay, we've been hanging out in the Battle Pass screen for so long, so I think it's about time we we get back to it. I've just been like yapping about the Black Rock Shooter history. So yeah, if you want to like get into a niche series, like it's been running for so long. It's just been a sink or swim though, so. Oh, I'm gonna get the 500 of the. Okay, as in back. Yeah, OBS hiccups again. I don't think I got that. I got a hiccup like during my my model kit stream, like the second one. So it's like, okay, I thought the problem is fixed, but apparently not. Unfortunate. Okay. Yeah, they had like this event where you can you have like these kind of like board game kind of thing where you just like collect stuff in it. Yeah, I forgot this was a thing. I could have been like farming these. Allocate 6, precision sensing, cross check. Then 1. There's also precision sensing here. Alright. battle mission. Yeah, let's uncover everything first. Okay, you can go 3. Nice. Alright. Ah, yeah, that's a thing. You can probably go to the cross-check one. Then let's go back to our starting point, I guess. So if we go here though, we're gonna like skip the chest. One. Okay. Another one. I haven't done any of the battle missions. I guess we should go there. Already reached daily limit. Okay, so the last chest was probably over there, like that question mark. Okay.
Hi.
So we can go to the actual event now. I'll probably just read the narrations, but I'm not gonna like read read aloud. I mean the character dialogues. A hidden underground space somewhere. Only the colossal clusters of red crystals refract fragments of light. A silver-haired girl lies quietly among the crystal clusters. Countless pieces of information float through her mind as the invisible network attempts to reshape everything. The girl's tightly closed eyes reflect all possible futures and all pasts. It's as if she's in a vast, dark, and cold void. The Ascension Network is showing her everything. The knowledge of all, the answer of all. But this knowledge is not the antidote, neither does this answer offer redemption. She needs to find a new answer to break free from the cage that holds her captive. However, all futures seek to erase her, all pasts seek to replace her. Sometimes she is a naive child, sometimes a frail old person. Her existence is torn into countless pieces, devoured by hungry fishes. Redacted information, I guess. Is this Little Luna, alright? Hates to see ya. Oh wait, I forgot to read. I guess I can do the review, right? Past the bedroom door, there lies a deep, unfathomable red corridor. Fragile memories are being devoured, torn into fragments, as she and the girl appear to be pulled apart by a whirlpool, bit by bit, crushed by the immense crimson flood. A crimson figure races through the deserted city streets. As if to shake something off, Alpha twists the motorcycle's throttle to the maximum. The engine roars, unleashing a hurricane of red and white in its wake. The glint of light flashes through her gray eye, previously hidden beneath her hair, as she abruptly adjusts her ride's direction. Goddamn. After ascending a viaduct, the motorcycle hurtles forward, emerging from the severed end of the bridge and colliding with the side of a building at an angle nearly parallel to the wall. The wheels send fragments and glass flying as it skids along the side of the building for several dozen meters before landing. At the same time, a fierce explosion erupts on the road behind Alpha. If she hadn't reacted in an instant, the shell would have struck her directly. Alpha twists the handle once more, but to her dismay, the engine remains unresponsive, letting out only a feeble whine. Rendered speechless, she never expects her ride to stall at such a crucial moment. Yeah, I think you're kinda rough on it, Alpha. The forceful gust from the blast lifts Alpha's tied up hair. Alpha raises her head, casting a glance at the attacker who has been relentlessly chasing after her. But why? Okay. Perched on the fractured steel framework of a towering building, a girl donning a black coat stands steadfast, aiming a colossal cannon directly at Alpha. Her expression remains hidden beneath the shadow of her hood. The only thing discernible is the spectral blue flame emanating from her left eye. Once more, the black cannon's muzzle erupts with flames. Alpha's gaze sharpens as electric arcs surge from her waist. In a blinding flash, her Kodachi enveloped in electric light intercepts the cannon shell, cleaving it cleanly in twine. Is it twine or twain? Actually. In the following instant, the girl in black emerges from the dissipating smoke, her dark blade aimed directly at Alpha's face. Alpha swiftly sidesteps, drawing her sword with a backhand grip. The two blades clash with resounding impact, creating a dazzling shower of sparks. Utilizing the momentum from a rotation, Alpha skillfully deflects the opponent's force, retracting her sword to prepare for a counterattack. However, the opponent, realizing the ambush has failed, tactfully retreats, evading the incoming strike. The two create a distance of approximately 50 meters, each assuming a vigilant stance, warily anticipating the next move from their adversary. Nonetheless, Alpha is not particularly eager to engage in combat, with the enemy standing before her. After all, she doesn't even know why she's being attacked. She's not even like familiar with those terms. The person murmurs the terms Alpha mentioned as if encountering these concepts for the very first time. Seeing the girl in black not intending to answer, Alpha's mood somewhat lightens. Given that she has been pursuing her relentlessly across the city, Alpha never really thought there would be a peaceful conversation between them from the start. Besides, she is better at extracting information from people directly. Lightning transforms into crimson dress wrapping around Alpha's blade, with blue-white waves of energy bursting from her left eye. As Alpha grows more powerful by the second, the taciturn girl in black tightens her grip on the hilt of the sword and steps forward into the red storm. Yeesh. Yeah, I just feel like I was like reading I was reading a light novel for all the action narrations and stuff. Oh wait, this is like the same thing I just read earlier. They just watch his stand still. Okay, he's just waiting for me to like press the attack button. Ah, ita. Really dodged actually. You just notice that there's no like orbs. There's no orbs to reproduce. You're just really left with your like basic combo. Okay, now we have things. Aita. To be fair, I haven't fought anyone in like Alpha's level of like combat yet. He has a parry? Really? Aita. The battle rages on for God only knows how long. The blades cross and clash with each other like interlocking lightning. The standoff lasts only a moment. Alpha shifts her posture, sliding forward to the left in an attempt to throw the girl in black off balance. The girl in black, however, quickly adjusts herself, rotating her left foot backward to stabilize her stance and aiming her sword at Alpha once more. Ugh. I'm gonna doing a lot of talking. Even though I'm just reading the narration. They're now both visibly strained. A faint excitement flickers in Alpha's eyes. The last time she had to go all out in a fight was when she was in Fort Winter. The girl in black suddenly blurts this out during their standoff. Well, thank you. Wow. Alpha is more soft-spoken now, except she's grown more alarmed. Alpha can't seem to figure out who this girl is. There's no telling how strong she is, and Alpha doesn't think Babylonia would suddenly come up with a construct as powerful as this. During their standoff, Alpha doesn't sense any trace of the punishing virus in her, which rules out the possibility of her being an ascendant. What do you mean? She wasn't talking earlier. What do you mean she likes yapping? Ganda. Alpha's body, however, acts on its own before she snaps back. She spins around and slashes her sword through this thing that approaches her from behind, splitting it in half. The bisected Hetero creature, half dead, struggles to crawl towards Alpha. In the distance, more Hetero creatures and corrupted emerge, their target evident. Even after the emergence of the Hetero Tower and the changes in Hetero creatures, it still makes no sense for them to actively attack ascendants stronger than themselves. Not to mention that there are ordinary corrupted among them. Alpha turns around only to see the girl in black also fighting the Hetero creatures coming at her. Okay. The girl pierces a Hetero creature with her black greatsword. Another flock of bird-like Hetero creatures dives from the sky, only to meet their bitter end when she shoots them off. The shockwave from the cannon fire lifts the hood off the girl, revealing an uneven black twinkles. She glances at Alpha, who's distracted by the Hetero creatures, her bright blue eyes blinking as if in thought. The girl aims her cannon at Alpha, a cannonball shattering the Hetero creature behind Alpha. She signals Alpha with her eyes, seemingly asking for help to clear out the immediate threat. Frustrated by the girl's capricious attitude, Alpha raises her sword, all the same, deciding to first get rid of these Hetero creatures that are behaving less than normal before she does anything else. Silence returns to the street when the last Zetto creature is slashed and lets out a final screech. The girl in black looks at Alpha, standing beside a pile of Hetero creatures. Hetero creature corpses, ponders for a moment, and then plants her sword into the ground. Let's go. It took Alpha a moment to realize the girl was answering the question she asked at the very beginning. Even so, Alpha doesn't easily let down her guard. Her hand rests on the kodachi at her waist, her gaze sharp. But the girl ignores her hostility, approaching Alpha as though she can't take a hint. She points at the Hetero creatures on the ground, clarifying her reason for attacking Alpha. Faced with the girl's retort, Alpha is somewhat baffled. She was just on the surface, cowering like she always had, looking for a way to sever Luna's deep connection with the Ascension Network. Then out of nowhere, she was attacked by this girl. Even now, she still doesn't quite understand what happened. Alpha turns her head towards where the girl is pointing. With it, Alpha finds herself a little dumbfounded. She has borne witness to countless inconceivable creations and wonders, but none of those has prepared her for what unfolds before her. It's a castle standing in the distance, towering into the clouds. Surrounded by ruins, the black and white castle looks incredibly majestic. Thinking her visual terminal might be malfunctioning, Alpha closes her eyes and shakes her head, but the castle remains when she reopens her eyes. Something like this can just pop out of the ground overnight, but Alpha has no choice but to believe the castle is not an illusion, seeing it stand before herself. The answer is of course no, but judging from the girl's attitude, Alpha is starting to contemplate another idea, one she finds hard to accept at the moment. This is not the world she knows, not the Earth being ravaged by the punching virus. Alpha stares at the mysterious girl. As if confirming Alpha's thoughts, the flame in her left eye burns on quietly. Okay, this is just a scenic part. Okay. Alpha picks up her motorcycle from the roadside, cutting the girl off. She finds it absurd to immediately believe she's crossed into a so-called different world, which seems like a plot twist straight out of a third-rate novel. The existence of the castle is indeed bizarre, but Alpha isn't so inexperienced that she's lost her ability to question. Hang on, let me double check OBS right now. Just so I can make sure that everything is audible. Yeah, this stuff should be playing, the desktop audio should be playing. There we go. Okay, we're back here. Alpha doesn't exactly understand what Blackrock Shooter is saying, but she gets the gist of it. Actually, now that I think about it, the first Blackrock Shooter manga has like kind of like the same concept as the OVA. Like the physical manifestations of the mind. They do use the same concept, but like it exists in like the different universes. Alpha, frowning, looks around. When her gaze falls onto the hetero creatures they had just slain together, a bizarre phenomenon occurs again. The bodies of the hetero creatures didn't rot as usual, but instead gradually turned into specks of light, fading away as if they were being decomposed. Yep, no concept of the real world too, but yeah. It seems she truly lacks these concepts which are common knowledge to Alpha, just as she doesn't know about the punishing virus constructs and ascendants. It would seem that she really is from another world. And this is another world, so... The girl redons the hood on her trench coat, gesturing Alpha to follow. It crossed Alpha's mind to leave this mysterious girl and investigate the castle's anomaly on her own, but she pushes her motorcycle and follows the girl's lead nonetheless. Alpha knows that she is just using this girl and she hopes to take advantage of this chance to squeeze some useful information out of her. As Alpha follows the girl down the street, the two of them say not a word. It is only when Alpha leaves the ruined city, where she has been hiding that she begins to understand the validity of this girl's previous words more clearly. Alpha, having avoiding Babylonia's surveillance this entire time, has become highly familiar with this place. However, beyond the city now, she barely recognizes anything. Blackrock Shooter falls quiet without answering the question. Strangely, Alpha doesn't feel annoyed. The more they talk, the more she feels something she can't quite put in words in this girl. She's never felt this way about anyone, not when she come across Vonnegut and his ascendant, nor when she came across the constructs of Babylonia. She feels like a solitary beast coming across one of her kind. This place resembles a mountain ruin where a workshop-like building stands. The workshop's rolling door has gone all the way up before Alpha gets any closer, as though someone knew they would come at this time. My god. Yes, Black Shooter and Dead Master's relationship is like, yeah, it is quite interesting, but yeah. Ignoring the craftsman teasing, she instructs Alpha and then leaves. She leans against the shadow of a cliff and closes her eyes, seemingly resting. The craftsman shrugs her shoulder, then beckons Alpha into her workshop. Alpha's hand slowly reaches for the Kodachi at her wrist. Alpha stares at the woman before her, who is cloaked and masked. She's not indifferent to the craftsman's true identity, but Alpha knows her priority. There's much to do, and rather than exploring the essence of Corridor, she needs to figure out why she came here and find a way back into her world. Oh. The craftsman watches Alpha, who suddenly falls silent, with interest like a teacher gently guiding a student and waiting for her to voice her thoughts. The punishing virus within her remains docile. After her journey to Fort Winter, Alpha has mastered a way to suppress the Ascension Network. She hates to follow the Ascension Network's filtering rules, but she understands that resistance is not purely about escaping the Ascension Network. God dang it. Her connection with the Ascension Network has never been severed, and Alpha knows exactly why. As an agent, Luna has deeper ties with the Ascension Network than Alpha does, with Luna caught in a deep mind connection to the Ascension Network. Not even Alpha has a way of finding out how she is. She doesn't know what lies at the depths of the Ascension Network, and that's where Luna's consciousness is wandering right now. Alpha flips down the kickstand of her motorcycle, parking it inside the craftsman's workshop. The craftsman lets out a soft chuckle, shrugging her shoulders in a gesture of resignation. Hearing this question, the craftsman adjusts her mask as though trying to make it clear to Alpha who she is. Alpha lowers her hand, holding the kodachi, and turns to leave. Seeing Alpha emerge from the craftsman's workshop, the black girl in ah! Okay. The girl in black lifts her head and asks, God dang it. I was about to say the black girl in black. What the fuck, man? What the fuck, me? She quickly shakes her head, immediately turning down Alpha's offer. While Blackrock Shooter doesn't plan on gathering information with Alpha, she still passes her a worn map with the terrain nearby and locations where people might be found marked. Given Corridor's nature, the landscape seems to change her periodically. This map was drawn 3 days ago, so it should be reliable. The possibility flits through Alpha's mind before she takes one last look at the black and white castle in the distance and heads straight in the castle's direction. Just gonna walk. A little earlier, a girl with twin tails holds a dark red katana, its frosted blade shedding tiny flakes of ice. She adjusts her stance, stepping forward to protect the human standing behind her. She fixes her gaze on the green-eyed girl sitting atop the ruins, her mind tensed and alert. Compared to Blackrock Shooter, it's actually really easy to remember. With a disdainful smile, this girl by the name Deadmaster looks down at Lucia, and I guess it's the commandant, who feel baffled by their surroundings. Better than nicknames, they're like titles. And yes, I will be referring to my name input as Commandant. You know, you don't need to explain it a third time. Ooh. The girl points toward the castle standing in the distance. Is that some unique form of greeting here? Okay, hold on. Okay. So in the OVA the OVA adaptation or the OVA continuation of Blackrock Shooter, did not have like voices for, you know, for the other worlders, Blackrock Shooter, Deadmaster, Strength, etc., etc. They basically don't have any like voice dialogue, but I do think they do in like the anime, like the anime continuation of that. Or readaptation. I don't think it's like a continuation. It's basically just telling a more expanded story based on the OVA. So yeah. So it's kind of like hard for me to imagine their voices. Well, there's that like later anime where they actually had dialogue, but you know, maybe I can use that as reference. Lucia reaches out and takes a few steps forward, but only sees the girl leap off the other end of the ruins, disappearing from their sight. Lucia turns around, looking worriedly at the commandant. That we have to head to the back to that black and white castle if we are to address the source of the mutation. I actually haven't gotten this like version of Lucia yet. It's from where I am in the story, Lucia is still in like you know, long hair. Like it wasn't in Twin Tails yet. I'd rather be that case. If it's just an illusion some ascendant came up with, then everything that's happening now would have less of an impact on your worldview. Yeah. You have to fight. You have to fight Alpha soon. Casting your gaze upon the seemingly endless wilderness around you, you chose a path to advance. Lucia takes one look at the black and white castle, ponders for a few seconds, shakes her head, and catches on. Okay, before we move on to like episode 3, I'm gonna I'm gonna take a short break. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. I don't know if I skipped the dialogue actually. Ah shit.
I will sever this prison of fate. Life and death that give up.
I let go of the controller for a moment.
Life and death are but a moment apart. My blade.
Ay, ta.
Give up. Now you're on the other side of the give up. I will sever this prison of fate. Keep moving. This victory is not the end yet.
Unable to stand the incessant babbling of the girl in the black robe, Alpha kicks her impatiently. The girl stands to her feet shakily and removes the windproof cloak as told. The girl reports her name honestly, while Alpha waits quietly for a while before continuing to speak. Well, yeah. After like freaking Block Rock Shooter and Craftsman, yeah, this is kind of underwhelming. I get Alpha. Wow. Baffled but being held at knife point, Fida starts talking. In her world, fights among humans never cease, driven by greed, emotions, ideologies, or beliefs. The closer the two wills are, the more they tend to harm each other. And in the world of Corridor, such contradictions are manifested in a surprisingly direct manner. Alpha suddenly remembers what Blackrock Shooter said to her after the fight they had when she first got here. Alpha is reminded of what the craftsman said, realizing that the metaphor might have a deeper meaning. Fida doesn't answer the question. Her gaze quickly shifts away, her eyes heavy with urgency and worry. Alpha's just pissed. What the fuck? Alpha suppresses the urge to draw her blade and patiently continues to question Fida. Alpha cuts off Fida after hearing what she wanted to hear. If Fida can take her to a place where she can obtain more information, it would save Alpha a lot of time trying to verify the truth. After muttering to herself, Fida clenches her fist tightly before quickly releasing it. As if to hide her emotions, she puts on her hood again and takes off in front of Alpha. Unbeknownst to them, the sky of corridor is tinged with a hint of red. Upon closer inspection, countless red specks are floating beneath the clouds, weaving into an endless ribbon of light in one direction. This ribbon of light leads to the massive castle. The deepest part of the castle, a pristine secluded chamber with nothing but a narrow throne at its center. The girl sitting upon it is known as the king. Countless red particles drift from the open windows down to the foot of the throne, slowly taking shape and eventually coalescing into white figures. Pure white warriors kneel before her, awaiting her command. The white mental images silently follow her command and exit the room. They will join the army of the castle, ready to march at once. By destroying the mental images in this world with the corrupted and hetero creatures, and interfering corridor with the Ascension Network, she was going to make it possible for deceased mental images to be born again through corridor. She leveraged the collected mental images and created her own army. They no longer adhere to Corridor's law of mutual slaughter and act like puppets, completely obedient to her commands. She asks a shadow behind the pillar in the room. A green-eyed girl takes 2 steps into the light and nonchalantly leans against the pillar. Wait, is this a physical manifestation of Ascension Network? Alpha follows closely behind Fida. The two stop in front of the few buildings amidst the vast wilderness. The sky tinged with a faint red glow, adding a layer of desolation and gloom to the scenery. Looking at the desolate village, Fida speaks with a low voice. Alpha recalls the appearance of that castle. The black and white color scheme reminded her of chess. Alpha stops herself down memory lane. On the other hand, this corridor itself barely has any rules to speak of. The iterative mechanism between mental images prevents the emergence of complex social structures like that in her world. Craftsman? A figure is approaching them from the distance. Seeing the craftsman, Fida instantly becomes respectful and reverent, showing the craftsman's prestige in the world. These mental images seem to have little compatibility left, but their tone still carries a hint of aggression towards Alpha, a stranger. Alpha gives her a warning in a low voice, her gaze compelling the mental images to move their hands away from their weapons. Alpha can't be bothered to argue. She doesn't want to complicate matters further. Following the mental image's gaze, Fida looks at Alpha, feeling confused. Alpha falls deep in thought for a moment before shaking her head. The craftsman shakes her head, silently watching Fida walk among the group of surviving mental images. Alpha reaches out and grabs Fida's hand, probably, as she is about to run off in frustration. Alpha lets go of Fida, leaving Fida to stumble forward and nearly fall. Fida puffs off her cheeks and is about to put her hood back on when she notices something that caused her to freeze. She looks up at the sky. Under the pale ribbon of light, a thin white tributary branches out. The luminescent white stream slowly flows towards an open area in the village, where the specks of light gradually focus into shape. Finally, a slender human form emerges from the sphere of light and lands on the ground. Ida murmurs as her legs move on their own towards the still unawakened figure and kneels at her side. Vida holds the hand of the newly born into mental image, her expression unreadable. Alpha doesn't finish her sentence, but Fida already knows the rest. Hundreds of mental images have been slaughtered by the castle, but only one image is reborn from corridor. Vida mutters angrily. Her teeth are clenched and she pounds her fists on the ground, making a dull sound. Eventually, she carries the mental image, still asleep, to her group of friends, handing the girl to one of the mental images. Vida, frustrated, drags the group of mental images and urges them to leave. After ensuring her friends head in the direction opposite the castle, Vida returns to Alpha's side. Right then, the familiar roar of Alpha's engine can be heard from the distance. A girl in black rides toward them on a crimson bike, drifting to stop right in front of Alpha. I'm mad. It's the only, like, wheeled transportation you have. Ibustek. She takes off her hood and dismounts from the bike. Seeing her face, Vida instantly collapses into the ground, looking lost and shocked. The girl with the black attire and blue eyes observes Vida in silence. Vida's frightened demeanor reflected in her eyes. You're the what? Ako ma. I have a feeling this might be just like less than 10 chapters. I mean, they're kind of lengthy. The light is blinding to the point of hurting the eye. It was only then that she made out her surroundings. Particles of light float above the wasteland, slowly rising to the sky. Countless wills perished in the conflict, and she was born from it. The person in front of her smiles and reaches out her hand. Leaning on her sword, Fida kneels on the ground, supporting her body to prevent herself from collapsing. In the wilderness, only a few are still moving. Her gaze heavy, she scans the battlefield for a particular figure. Looking around, she sees a mound of dead bodies. The deceased mental images are starting to disintegrate. Once again, she sees the particles of light ascend into the clouds. It feels like a lot more human than the rest of the other mental images. The heck? With Malaka's permission, Fida lifts her head, silently observing the sky which seems even more blinding than usual. Until the last glimmer of light fades away. Since her creation, she has always harbored the question. After she killed an enemy mental image with her own hands for the first time and watched them die reluctantly under her sword. After she witnessed the dissipation of comrades who had been at her side day and night. After she set foot on countless battlefields and survived all those merciless killings. After she saw newly born mental images being taught and gradually becoming familiar with and accustomed to conflict. The question did not disappear but instead troubled her even more. What's the point of conflict? Why does everyone throw themselves at it? Why do we all need to try to cut each other's throats? Can't there be compromise and concession? Damn. Why not flee when facing someone you know you don't stand a chance against with? You don't stand a chance against. Why not cherish the one life you have? She meets the blue-eyed girl for the first time, as Thoth trying to prove her point. Vida thinks Malaka is wrong about one thing. This girl is not a demon. She is more like a reaper of lives, killing all who stand in her way indiscriminately. No attack can touch her, and no defense can withstand her. Every strike of her sword claims a life, and every sound of her cannon is followed by cries that never have the chance to be uttered. The girl easily broke through the layers of battle lines as if it were nothing until she stood before her and Melaka. The moment her eye, burning with the blue flame, met hers. The girl, silent, raises her sword at Fida, apparently waiting for her to initiate a hopeless challenge. And Fida, without hesitation, casts the question aside, making up her mind almost instantly. She grabs Malaka's hand, fleeing the battlefield turned into hell. While traversing through another expanse of city ruins, Alpha speaks up, having had enough. She speaks to Fida, who has been hiding behind her while tugging at the hem of her coat and peering ahead. Clearly, Fida is maintaining her distance from the girl in black who's leading the way quietly. According to the craftsman, like Alpha, the girl wasn't born in Corridor, but is an outsider from an unknown place. In her world, there too was a disaster that had come from the outside world. Alpha glances at the craftsman strolling leisurely by her, unable to see her face under her mask. As Alpha gathers her thoughts, she notices the girl in black has stopped cold. As she turns around about to say something, she sees Fida, who has taken half a step backward behind Alpha after catching her gaze. I think that was a typo, like earlier. Ignoring the mosquito-like complaints, Alpha hands the task of pushing the motorcycle to feed the and walks up to the front of the group. A magnificent ancient ruin stands before her, and she knows that beyond these buildings lies the castle's turf. She steps carefully into the ruins, her footsteps on the marble floor echoing crisply. Suddenly, the light of a blade, followed by a faint chill, flashed straight toward her from the dark. Alpha shifts sideways and dodges the first ambush. Her kodachi pops out of its sheath and clashes with the second blow just in time. When the kodachi and katana cross in an X, red electric arcs dance on the thin sheet of ice on the katana's blade, causing the shards of ice on it to scatter. Alpha smiles a disdainful smile, exerting a slight force on her wrist to ward off Lucia's katana. Facing Lucia, who still aims her sword at her, Alpha lowers her gaze briefly, seating her kodachi to show that she has no intention of fighting Lucia. Sorry, Commandant's here. Alpha frowns slightly at the figure emerging from the dark. The incident at Fort Winter corroborates the unbreakable bond between Alpha and Lucia, and it's hardly surprising that Lucia, being another sister to Luna, would be implicated. As for the Commandant, being the only human to have formed a deep mind connection with Luna, they indeed hold a unique significance. Alpha's thoughts briefly wander. She's certain that this human has arrived at the same conclusion. The craftsman steps forward, following closer by the other two. Followed closely by the other two. Fuck. Okay. Vida examines Lucia for a moment, then turns to look at Alpha, recalling what she's heard about the two who had saved her village. She realizes that she's looking at those very people and claps her hand. She looks at Lucia for a moment, then shifts her gaze to the human. Thanks? Question mark. The craftsman produces several blank autograph cards and pen and starts. What? Excuse me? How do we do the star symbol? Alpha ignores Fido, who's looking nervously at her. Her fingers resting on the Kodachi's guard as she observes Lucia and the human's reactions. Lucia's wrist turns slightly, seating her katana as she looks at the commandant at her side. That didn't need to be choices, by the way. it was like, how hard it is to just like put like a commandant and then like those sequence of dialogues in the text box. I feel like I feel like this probably spoiled me a bit, although I'm not sure. I still need to play the main story, so I'm guessing Lucia's split into two, or one is Lucia, the other Alpha, the one with the punishing virus. That's just my this is my hunch with like the whole like Lucia and Alpha's relationship kind of thing. Joining forces is only a temporary measure. The abilities between us are better settled somewhere else. Yes. You'll reach the castle's main entrance at the end of these ancient ruins. After achieving a brief peace, the makeshift team sets out toward the source of this anomaly. Before the Grand Castle gate, everyone stands firm at the foot of the stairs. Right then, they see a slender figure slowly stepping down the stairs. Lucia's voice grows shaky when she sees the figure's face. Though her face is strikingly familiar, the way she carries herself and her tone of her voice are entirely different from Luna's. Seeing the master of the castle, Alpha's katana sparks with lightning. When she draws it out with lightning speed, a dazzling arc of electricity lashes out at the figure. The sound of a blue-white cannon being fired follows. The shot and ear-splitting explosion engulf Luna right away. As the smoke clears up, Alpha and the rest of the group see that their attack proves ineffective. The king remains unscathed. Oof. She raises her hand, casually tossing several streams of light from her palm, which land before all of you. They are black chess pieces, and the one landing before you bears a crown. This is the king, what the girl claims to be. Lucia seems to want to say something to the king, but a violent shake cuts her short. The world around you grows twisted, and it feels as though the ground beneath you had collapsed in an instant. You feel like you've been stuck into a bottomless pit, passed out cold as you go down. There's not much fights actually, there's like a lot of reading. Her consciousness experiences what feels like an endless trail fall through the dark, and when she opens her eyes again, she finds herself in this cold and empty space. Lucia doesn't see her commandant, but the connection of their minds remain. Lucia doesn't see her commandant, but the connection of their minds remains unbroken. The mind beacon is still securely anchored in her mind, meaning that her commandant is not in immediate danger. Lucia looks around, and when her gaze falls onto the floor under her feet, she notices a faintly glowing mark. That's the symbol for the knight from chess. And when a piece's bottom is black, that means it's a black. Is it does that be like the whole piece, not just the bottom? Each of them was given a chess piece, and Lucia recalls being given a black knight. The girl in black appears next to Lucia, seemingly out of nowhere. Under her feet, there's also a mark displaying a chess piece that's different from Lucia's knight. She represents the Black Queen. The girl nods slightly, not nearly as overly cautious of her surroundings as Lucia. She seems familiar with all the weird things that are happening to them now. The ceiling is adorned with three-dimensional hologram composed of floating data streams, almost perfectly mirroring the castle's appearance. Then near the base of the castle, several red dots flicker into existence. Blackrock Shooter starts making her way towards the stairs that lead up to the second floor. A few steps in, however, she gets stopped cold by an invisible barrier. She swings her blade at the barrier, blocking her path, but her sword gets flicked away the moment it touches the barrier. In front of her and Lucia, 7 floating dice appear. They have the same number of dice, but the one before Lucia is an old-school 6-faced dice, whereas Blackrock Shooter is a 12-faced dice with more points on it. Faint memories stir, and Lucia's thoughts rip back to the mansion from her childhood. Is that a Eureka moment just now? Wow. Lucia raises her head, her gaze intense and heavy with worry as she keeps her eyes on the top of the castle. In the chilling hall, the craftsman casually sits on an exquisitely made counter, while Fida stands somewhat dazedly in a corner of the room. Beneath their feet, black chess piece symbols flicker. Fida is a pawn, while the craftsman represents the bishop. The craftsman with a keen interest poses the question to Fida. Pita, her gaze flickering, doesn't answer the question. Just like, I don't believe that. In the room lit by a ghastly white light, you find yourself strapped to a chair. You feel bound to place by chains you can't see, unable to stand up or move. You're forced to look at the chessboard before you. You seem to jolt awake seeing the red figure that, apparently having shown out of nowhere, strikes you like a bolt of thunder. She walks up to you, her presence every bit as formidable as the king's. The king's fingers brush over the data model on the table with a dozen specks of light in different colors. Clearly, they represent the chess pieces from both sides. The king waves her hand, and with it, you see a new set of data projected before you, showing the status of the chess piece and the remaining number of dice each chess piece has. Sugoroku. Board games played with dice aren't uncommon. The guys from WGAA have made you play a few with them. I'm vibing right now. Alpha isn't assigned a piece now that she's with us. Alpha stares at the king, her gaze sharp as blade. You know Alpha is moments away from drawing her sword and slicing the chessboard, except this is no place for a rampage. Alpha lowers her eyelids, choosing to ignore the king. A flash of red crosses your mind. The forced connection causes a familiar sting of pain to your consciousness. Oh, we're mind linked? Okay. Alpha is right. The king stands as your greatest roadblock one way or another if you want to find a way back. This is just one line, yeah. I hate it when gacha games like do this kind of like illusion of choice. Under Alpha's feet, the mark of Rook twinkles. She too was supposed to occupy a position on the chessboard. Right from the get-go, both Rooks dim on the projected scoreboard. Oh, yeah, the Rook mental image from earlier. The king smiles, seemingly unfazed by Alpha's taunt. The king touches the white queen on the virtual chessboard, making her first move. Okay, I can't edit. Alright. Can we swap leaders though? Oh wait, yeah, I think BRS can only because BRS can only like buff fire and like but not like the second ability that Lucia has, so the specks of light in the inverted visual castle slowly begin to move, showing that the game has begun. Mm-hmm. Yes, they made it, yeah. They modified chest, wow. Oh yeah, it's surprising. Oh, macarons. Yeah, these are references to like the TV release. Led by instinct, Blackrock Shooter draws out her sword and raises it at the room's entrance. Oh, hello. A moment later, the room's door slowly opens and a girl in a black dress steps in with light footsteps. She greets them cheerfully with a bright smile. I skipped that one. I kind of don't want to think about it deeply, so hold on. Let me check my audios again. Should be heard, should be heard, should be heard. Right. Okay, back here. This is just how she is. The dice before Dead Master glows faintly, indicating she hasn't moved to the square that she's supposed to be at. Under her feet, a symbol identical to Blackrock Shooter starts flashing, indicating that she's been assigned to the role of the White Queen. She walks straight past Lucia and Blackrock Shooter, leaving the room. Right then, one of the dice around Blackrock's shooter glows up. The dice spins in mid-air, finally settling on the number 11. Lucia, one of the creators of this chessboard game, remembers her time spent playing it with her sister, even if the memory is somewhat distant. Parting ways with Lucia, Blackrock Shooter moves to the next square following the points shown on the dice. Excuse me. Okay. Oh. We landed in the same space, I guess. Okay. What's the next space? Much too soon. Oh. Yeah. The fuck, he's silent. This night.
Is this all I have? 全出力解放リミッター解除燃え尽きろロック可能シュート have? 貫く切り裂くロックパンシュート Is this all I have?
Okay, it kind of bugged out when I tried to finish with an ultimate. After staring at the holographic map that updates the position of the pieces in real time, Fida, who hasn't been moved yet, turns to look at the craftsman who finds herself in the same situation. As if seeing something coming, the craftsman turns to look at the dice floating beside her. A second later, the dice lights up, showing a 6. But this doesn't seem to indicate the steps the craftsman should take. Instead of guiding her path, the dice simply vanishes. With it, the 3D map, having been covered in meaningless numbers, now clearly shows the events of the 6 cells. Just like this being a beach, I'm not meant to reach the goal per arrows. Vida gazes at the masked figure, feeling as though she's peering into something she shouldn't. Vida looks again at the chessboard. She is now at the very back of all the pieces. As the king said, she's an extra that pops out from nowhere, her piece being a most inconspicuous pawn. Her existence might be absolutely irrelevant to the outcome of the game, meaning that whatever happens on the board has nothing to do with her. Just as Vida tries to make herself feel better with these passive thoughts as always, her dice lights up. Her king hasn't excluded her, but she still doesn't know what role she's supposed to play in this game. The number on the dice seems to be telling her to move forward. She doesn't know what's going to happen if she doesn't do as instructed. Then she lets out a sigh, clenching her fist slightly and starting to walk in the direction the dice indicates. Okay, hold on. I need another bathroom break. I'll be back under a minute. Okay, I'm back. I think I need to like configure like because when I stream in PC, it overlays the game audio. All right. Let's see. Where are we going now? The king gestures for you to proceed, and the round count on the scoreboard jumps from 11 to 12. It's the 12th round of the game, the 6th move from both sides. The 3D chessboard lights up, clearly showing the status of either side. The bishops haven't moved a step from square 1, with the white queen in the lead, the black queen fails a few squares behind. Following closely are the white knight and the black knight, and a white pawn with the black pawn trailing at the end. The white queen, knight, and the pawn form a tricky blockade, maintaining a lead while preventing black pieces from advancing to steal dice from the white side. The white side has more dice too, and it's probably safe to say that you're only a few rounds away from defeat if you don't do something now. You snap back as your fingers hover aimlessly over the chessboard, something you're doing on purpose to wear down the king's patience. After replying impassively, you pick the queen with the dice. However, you aren't so lucky this time with a roll of 4. You know that the king would still be leading after this round, even after this round. Holding down your left hand hidden under the table, you feel your palm covered in fine sweat. Looking up, you see that the king's expression remains unchanged, those crimson eyes of her reflecting your face. She smiles, seemingly indifferent to the game's outcome and satisfied just to see you suffer and embarrassed. I was thinking I am calm, but like holy shit, they did not expect this exactly the dialogue for Commandant. You're not poking fun or trying to play though. You do feel calm. Your body is tormented by tension, but your mind races on. How difficult can this be when it's a game that 2 kids came up with? The chessboard follows the size of international chess, totaling 64 squares. Not counting the king and the specially functioning bishop, each player has 4 pieces, each with 7 dice that at most can result in a maximum of 42 moves. The queen, on the other hand, has double the mobility, putting its maximum number of moves at 84. Executing events on the squares grants rewards, and it's also possible to battle and steal the opponent's dice. Since the number of event squares is fixed, a bit of calculation can reveal the best moves, minimizing the impact of luck. Unfortunately, within the game, already 5 rounds in, it hits just now that the game works similarly to tic-tac-toe, in that the first move can dictate winning or losing. Think about why instead of how. The game itself isn't important, what matters is why it takes this form. A real chess player focuses on things beyond the game itself. Beyond the game is probably where the key to victory lies. This slowly made sense to you through the countless games you've made against a certain fellow player. Reading your mind of all the noise and quickly calming yourself down, you look at the king once again in the eye. With it, the king slowly lowers her hand that has been hovering over a piece. You're just trying to like make her, rile her up. I can't be meaner, but I give it a go. What the fuck, Commandant? Uh, okay. Tiny arcs of lightning steer Alpha's hair as pale blue energy slowly courses within her left eye. The king pauses before breaking into a smile and falling silent. The round count goes from 13 to 14 as the king makes her move. Blocking the side slash with her black katana, she spins it and kicks her opponent away, then charges her cannon for a final shot at her unbalanced foe. As the smoke clears, the girl with the scythe walks towards her, a subtle smile on her face. One of the dice around Deadmaster flies away from her and toward Blackrock Shooter, indicating that the latter has won this round. The round count on the scoreboard goes from 27 to 28, signaling it's the black side's move. The girl with green eyes approaches Blackrock Shooter and whispers into her ears. She looks up at the holographic castle and sees that the specks of light representing her ended master are close to the goal, while the other pieces are still fighting. Lucia's knight is under attack by two white pieces, and as for Fida, Blackrock Shooter never really thought she'd be any useful anyway. Blackrock Shooter shakes her head, looking quietly at the chessboard. Fida steps forward mechanically, recalling what the craftsman told her before. She has thought about ignoring the dice's commands, but she never managed to work up the courage to actually try defying it. She knows perfectly well that the pawns will never make it to the goal, and yet she doesn't know if she is going to refuse to be sacrificed when she has to make that decision. She can't even properly say what she wants, opting instead to keep running away. She is a coward, unworthy of mention, a deserter on the battlefield. She thought she had abandoned her fate as a mental image, yet she still came here in place of those left behind. Full of questions, she sought the ultimate answer from within that flame. She witnessed the vision. Her sword pierced through her enemy's chest, the blood that came splattering out, fluttering like wings of butterflies. Her emotions boiled over at that moment, experiencing an unprecedented, exhilarating pleasure. Like trying to fill a vast void within herself, she yearned to harm any being that came close with her sword. And that's when it hit her. That she had seen the same expression countless times before, and yet she'd chosen to look away from it again and again. That same expression she'd seen every time she killed the mental image, and on all the battlefields she set foot on. They all wore the same expression. Everyone genuinely enjoyed harming others. It was only in that moment she understood, when she first opened her eyes and Malaka reached out to her, what the smile curling on at her lips meant. That wasn't celebrating the birth of a new life, it was celebrating the more conflicts shall arise in this world. Oh. Oh, that's what happened. She murmurs, then hears the symphony of swords clashing ahead. The girl with the katana sidesteps a white mental images thrust, then immediately deflects another mental images slash. 3 chess pieces land on the same square, allowing the white side's knight and pawn to confront her simultaneously. Using 2 chess pieces to attack might reduce the reward, but it ensures victory. The white side's king was slowly but surely whittling down Lucia's dice. Even though she is outnumbered, the girl's spirit doesn't waver in the slightest. She creates distance between herself and the 2 mental images, positioning her katana in front of her, ready and focused. In the next moment, she swings her katana, creating a pale storm of countless eye shards that immobilize the white knight. Then with a flash of the blade, before the white pawn can react, her sword is already cleaved in half. The last dice on the pawn disappears, her figure dissolving, signaling her exit from this game. After defeating the first enemy, Lucia uses the momentum to spin and change the direction of the blade. The knight is still trapped in ice. This is her golden opportunity. The thruster on her back ignites with energy, propelling her forward with lightning speed. However, just as her blade is about to touch the knight's neck, her frame makes an unusual noise. Orange flames and the screech of electric erupt from the exhaust vent of her left rear leg, an unexpected overload disrupting her balance and rendering her assault ineffective. The wear and tear from the intense battles turn into a fatal flaw at the moment. The knight breaks free from the ice, her sword slashing across Lucia's chest. Vida shouts almost reflexively, running towards Lucia's position, only to be stopped by the barrier of divided squares. She can only watch as the few remaining dice on Lucia decrease, and the knight also turns her attention to Vida. Her fists clenched tightly against the barrier, her eyes glaring intensely at the white-clad mental image. Even though her face is hidden by a cloak and her aura is completely different, she recognizes her. The mental image playing the white knight slowly speaks her name. On the chessboard, the pieces representing the black side begin to dim one by one. She remains silent for a long time. She has many reasons to refuse, but ultimately she takes the king's hand. That moment, she sees an entirely different world. Countless lives perish. Countless values vanish. The sky crumbles, the golden sea breaches in a single night. Disasters are unleashed, irreparable mistakes are made. Tortured souls, entangled fates. Shadows circling unceasingly, a nauseating carnival. All illusions eventually converge into one place. That is the essence, the origin. It is a mirror. And then, The mirror reflects her own image. The knight doesn't respond to Fida's shout, quietly seating her sword, then turn shifts. The turn shifts and the dice on the knight lights up, guiding her to the next area. Lucia props herself up with the sword, standing shakily. Sparks still fly from her frame's exhaust ports, and moving appears to be problematic. She drags her almost immovable left leg to Fida, a bitter smile on her face. Lucia herself is the knight of the black side. Her persistent struggle to break through the white side's blockade is due to the unique properties of the knight's piece. Her dice are down to 2 and the white knight still blocks the way. The dice on Lucia's body lights up as the turn shifts. She brushes the dust off her face, offering Fida a firm smile as if to comfort her. She grips her sword, standing tall. She's now only 7 squares away from the finish line. Deadmaster follows closely behind, yet she's still 1 round away from catching up. If all goes well, she'll reach the finish line first, ensuring that the black side won't lose by having all its pieces eliminated early. The real test comes next, when she has to simultaneously confront both Deadmaster and the knight from the white side. She recalls the image of a white-haired girl carrying an odachi, someone who, for some reason, hasn't joined the game since entering the castle. I think it says kodachi instead of od. Well, to be fair, it is an odachi. It's a long sword. Or a long katana. Now's not the time to think about it. Oh, accidentally read it. Her dice lights up, rolling a 6. She looks at the numbers silently for a long time, her expression somewhat resigned. She was so close at just a single point away. With a sigh, she takes a step forward. Her footsteps echo down the long corridor, the finish line in sight, but she is forced to stop just short of it. And just as she steps on the final square, a white halo spreads from beneath her feet, plunging everything around into darkness. She's triggered an event. The card showing a castle flips, revealing the image of 2 crossed black swords. It's a battle. She steadies her breath, hand resting on the long sword at her waist. This is... this I'm reading too far. An endless wilderness under a leaden sky. This is the battlefield. Countless figures emerge in the distance surrounding her. They really just reused this CG from earlier. Holy shit. They are her enemies. Here is where her conflict begins.
始めよう。私のブラックロックシューターの戦い。貫く。ロックカノンシュート。切り裂く。貫く。
いた。
ロックカノンシュート。
あ、いたいたいた。
貫く。全出力解放。リミッター解除。ロックカノンシュート。貫く。それ。燃え尽きろ。貫く。全出力解放。リミッター解除。ロックカノンシュート。貫く。全出力解放。リミッター解除。
She no longer remembers how long the day's battle lasted. Raising her cannon, swinging her sword, countless particles of light scattered. Shout, roars, and wails pierced her eyes like needles. Wielding an unquenchable blue flame, she surveys anyone trying to approach her. She sees her figure reflected in their pupils, witnessing two starkly different emotions: fear and joy, cowardice and excitement. Black figures emerge endlessly from the horizon. For every one that falls, 10 more charge forward. Like moths spiraling in the dark, drawn to a glimmer of light, they converge here. She feels a touch of annoyance. She doesn't understand the meaning behind all of this. A momentary lag appears in her tireless body, and her sword is knocked away. Ending it all now wouldn't be so bad. Her thoughts overlap with the incoming sword tip. And then she sees a flash of green light. A girl wielding a scythe cuts down the sword aimed at her in a single swing. Without a word, she picks up the sword that fell to the side, standing beside the girl who suddenly appeared. Fuck, man. It's precisely what I'm questioning. Back to back, the two stand, their weapons reflecting hostility from all directions. The lengthy battle finally ends. Although it was just a replay of past memories, it still took a toll on her body and spirit. She tries to step forward, but her body involuntarily shakes and she half kneels down. Taking on alone the enemy she had once fought with Dead Master nearly sapped her all of her energy. As a reward for completing the event, a golden dice falls in front of her. Instead of numbers, it bears tiny cross symbols. She reaches out to grab it, but the dice vanishes immediately. She doesn't have time to dwell on it as she hears footsteps coming from behind. A red glow spreads from beneath their feet, turning the grid into a battlefield for two chess pieces. The whole song and dance. With the fall of the last mental image, the wilderness returns to silence. So frenemies. Just kidding. The black sight slices through the air towards her. She tries to block with her sword, but is sent flying by a skillfully applied force. She raises her cannon, charging up energy, only for Dead Master to eerily close in, her scythe locking onto her throat. The sight falls and the blue flame slowly extinguishes. She watches her last dice fly towards Dead Master. White light begins to radiate from her as she feels herself slowly disintegrating. This signifies her defeat in the game, signaling her exit. The green-eyed girl murmurs softly, oh, yeah, that's correct. Gazing at the reflection of the castle. She walks into the final destination, pushing open the grand door. Okay, so that means King won. On the scoreboard, the symbols were the Black Queen and Night Demon. Oh, Lucy is also defeated? Why is Commander Louis taunting King? What the heck? Accompanied is a soft sigh after a long silence. Alpha chuckles, seemingly have anticipated your reaction. Alpha watches the king, her stance unchanged regardless of her own thoughts, never wavering from the start. The knight extends her hand as if at night. The king extends her hand as if sincerely seeking reconciliation. She wants to create her own Eden in this corridor where everyone can live happily. Under her governance, the mental images will cease their conflicts, giving rise to a more advanced civilization. All it takes is the sacrifice of one girl, without any other cost. It seems so effortless, so easily attainable. Tagakotowaru. The craftsman? It doesn't need to reach the finish line. A golden laser floats up before Alpha, lighting up the dim rook on the scoreboard. The golden dice floats before Alpha. Then I'm repeating the same line. Shit. All right, let's play the final round. She walks along the final corridor. At the end of the corridor stands a colossal door, behind which lies the end of the chessboard. Before the door, a white knight stands in silence. With the sword covered in cracks and frosted with bits of ice, the knight is surrounded by ice yet to melt. Fide recognizes these are the signs of battle left by the girl named Lucia. Alright.
Give me all you got.
Da.
The sun will shine. So be my flame. Give up.
5 more of them.
Life and death are but a moment apart. Now you're on the other side of the line. I will sever this prison of fate. The sun will shine. So be my flame. Life and death are but a moment apart. I won't hold back. Now you're on the other side of the line. I won't hold back. I will sever this prison of fate. Life and death are but a moment apart. The sun will shine. So be my flame. I won't hold back. Now you're on the other side of the line. Oh,
no.
opponent. Life and death are but a moment apart. The sun shines. So be my flame. Now you're on the other side of the line.
Conclusion to conflict. Ice. The blade pierces through the chest of the White Knight. At this moment, she realizes a vision she had always been reluctant to recall. She touches her face, her fingers tracing the curve of her slightly raised lips. She realizes she's smiling, but she doesn't understand why. Smiles shouldn't be reserved for moments of joy. Should be reserved for moments of joy, yet she feels a void. Like a void that she doesn't know how to feel. She just stands there, waiting for the smile to fade from her face. Until Alpha grabs her cloak, trying to drag her to the final door. Alpha continues to drag Fida forward. Alpha gives Fida a push, causing her to stumble near to falling. Though still a bit hesitant, Fida stands in front of the door. A pawn is promoted when it reaches the finish line. She places her hand on the door. She pushes open the grand door, and then sword in hand, she steps through the open doorway. She cuts through the chains in her path, moving forward. Her left eye ignites with a blue flame as she looks up at her longtime nemesis waiting for her. The girl sits on the throne, her green eyes filled with laughter, looking down at her. Oh boy. Oh shit, really? You opened the... That's how you open? Oh! That has a grapple, what the fuck? That... Wow, what the heck? You can't dodge that? Guess not. I just don't know how many refills you get though. Or is it just like endlessly refills? Ah. It does seem you have a parry though. Okay, okay, so that is untouchable when she's a giant. Oh, it's Black Rock Shooter. Like the Miku song.
の瞳でこの力を目に焼き付けて。
The Master's domain gradually collapses, the surroundings reverting to their pre-battle state. A victor has been declared in this game. Alpha's eyes are drawn to the king, a solitary figure standing before the throne. In the blink of an eye, the king makes her move. She summons a crimson rapier, aiming it at you. Oh shit. The rapier rapidly approaches, but at the moment your eyes catch a glimpse of crimson lightning, Alpha raises her sword in defense, but to her surprise, the king neither dodges nor deflects Alpha's attack. Instead, she allows the blade to pierce through her chest. The king's smile is twisted as she grips Alpha's hand, guiding the blade deeper into her wound, inch by inch. The deeper the blade penetrates, the closer she gets to Alpha. Eventually, her figure fills Alpha's vision. As the king draws near, a soft glow emanates from Alpha's left hand, hinting at the stirring of her dormant punching virus. A deep red energy seeps out, finally forming a storm that envelops them both. A girl is sitting at a distance, picking up scattered chess pieces from the ground and resetting them on the board. She steps closer to the girl, who also notices her. She kneels before the girl. The girl nodded. The girl stands up, gives her a lingering look, and begins to walk away. The king's figure starts to fade away, her words of malice left hanging in the air. Feeling the punishing energy within her calm down, Alpha turns around to face Lucia and the others. She raises her sword towards Alpha. Feeling the hostility emanating from those blue eyes, Lucia instinctively readies her sword in response. This is a continued sentence again, god dang it. Two red katanas aim in the same direction as ice and thunder start to resonate together. Intimidated by the standoff, Vida steps back in fear. Clutching her scythe, then Master moves to stand beside Blackrock Shooter. With a heart full of questions, she summons her courage, lifts her head, and faces this newly transformed battlefield. She captures the silhouettes of the four individuals in her eyes. For a moment, she feels the fleeting gaze of the girl in black. Then the girl's eye ignites with a flame. She sees a vision. She sees burning meteors and icy comet tails. Rising flame, crimson thunder. Clashing stances, hearts seeking to unite. Not just a single conclusion, but a myriad of possibilities. She sees different destinies intertwining here. A miracle flickers and fades. Is this the final cinematic? We have one more. Nighttime in the craftsman's workshop. A shadowy figure appears behind the craftsman. The craftsman is adjusting the old optical telescope, seemingly cobbled together from whatever materials he could find. Oh, okay, we're back. The blue-haired construct removes her connector and sits up from the experience pod. Wait, okay then. I'm not familiar with these characters yet. Ishmael offers a polite smile, inquiring the technician of the World Government Association of Art beside her. The girl known as Leonie, who had been idly observing the bustling researchers in the lab, snaps back to reality at the sound of her name. The typical jovial Leslie takes on a rare serious tone, highlighting just how much of a nuisance Leone can be for the control court, which is responsible for reviewing all matters. Lamau. A young man in a sleek lab coat steps through the door, only to find that his path to his own laboratory is blocked by three people who don't belong here. What do you mean, quack? Seeing Asimov's face, Leonie's expression shifts dramatically as she swallowed the dog. Leslie smiles, mentioning a name that everyone present is familiar with. Lucia, leading the way, turns to report the mission's progress. It was just a routine patrol mission, checking for any unusual punishing virus concentration on the edge of the clean zone. You walked this patrol route so many times that you could do it blindfolded. Though it might sound odd to say, today was indeed an ordinary day. The only extraordinary moment might have been when you passed by a ruined building, you glance up and are momentarily blinded by the sunlight. The light refracted through the glass is so intense that you could have to squint, and for a moment, you think you see a flash of dark blue flame. This strange feeling lasted but a moment, and then everything returned to as normal as it could be. Looking up again, all that meets your gaze are the remains of walls and the cloudless blue sky. After so many bizarre incidents, you've developed a habit of constantly checking for anything unusual with your health. Atop the ruins, a girl with black hair and blue eyes stand at the edge of a steel frame, backlit by the sun. In the distance, two figures gradually recede from view. Her voice echoes in the wind as if awaiting a response. The girl leaps, her clothes billowing in the gust of wind. Like a bird flapping its wings, she disappeared from sight. Okay, that's the whole Bleeding Simulacrum collab story. Okay, that was interesting to say the least. Hold on, let me just get back to like an. They actually all the stage they didn't consume my stamina, I think. Get that. Okay. Actually, is it me or like I don't know that this event. Hang on. I don't know if this event was made like what last year in CN server. But it's like I was thinking, is it me or like or like gacha collab events have been like getting better or at least probably the games I've been playing, because the last collab event like I played is the Steins Gate event in Eurocloud. I think I thoroughly like enjoyed it. It made me buy actually Steins Gate itself. Although I did get Elite because it's like the most recent version. Though seems people are like still recommending like the original Steins Gate because it doesn't like refer to the anime. Like I think in the anime they like cut like a bunch of parts. Yeah. Okay, I do think the Blackrock shooter like collab story is kind of decent. Like it's not great, but it has like a good good amount of integrating Blackrock shooter universe into like PGR. The thing is that there was like another like collab before, which I haven't played because I wasn't playing PGR back then, which is the Nier Automata event. So I don't know how the story went in the Nier Automata event. So yeah, I think that is everything. It is actually okay. I thought it's gonna be long, but it's actually like quite short. It's like over in just around 3 hours. I've read reverse 1999 events for like longer. Sometimes you had to like probably the whole reading through the whole story is like 8 hours or something. But yeah, although there's like a lot more reading more than fighting. Well, to be fair, there's like still a bunch of like gameplay related events. Let me go back there. Yeah, because we still have these. Like there's like 1 through 3, I guess 4 gameplay modes that you can like, you know, farm. There's still 20 days, so oh wait, is this like a... I feel like this is a rhythm game or something. Gee, but what the heck? Brandishing tunes. Okay. And strategic simulation. I have a feeling this might be like a board game type. And these are like trials. Definitely, if you want to like see like the collab characters or the collab coating, that's what they call the skins. Wait, this boss challenge is like okay, so only Dead Master, I think, probably, but yeah. Yep, I haven't farmed any like event currency, but I should, because that's the most efficient way to get your get upgrade materials faster. There you go. Okay, I think yeah, I think this is everything. I probably see you not tomorrow. I'll see you like later to continue Digimon. Yeah, we're playing more Digimon Cyber Sleuth later, so I'll see you later. Zetto is out, oh. Diyan na.